We're going to start off our tool video with some super cool items from Tonic Studios. This first item is the Nouveau dual-tipped blender brush. This has two in a pack, and as you can see, they are dual-tipped. This works best with your thicker mediums as to blend in with colors, and you can also use this with gilding flakes and much more. These other two are precision blending brushes. This is a 2-pack and this is a 4-pack. So these are wider brushes to use with your inks, and these are smaller detail brushes to use with your inks as well. Perfect for blending colors. Next to show you is the brand new Tonic Studios Deco Trimmer by Tim Holtz. This is an 8.5-inch torn edge trimmer that gives you that awesome effect that you're looking for. Now I'm going to demo this trimmer for you, and you should know it works with paper and cardstock. It has a 6-inch ruler at the top and the bottom, and a 1/4-inch grid pattern with popular design size markings, along with this paper guard that protects your fingers and prevents any unwanted paper movement. So I'm going to use some 49 and market paper here. I'm going to lift up the trimmer arm and stick my paper underneath the glide at the top here at the 6-inch mark, and I'm going to push down, and you'll see I've got that perfectly torn edge, very similar to what you'd get if you just torn the paper to get the effect, but this cuts it precisely and you don't get any of the white parts of the paper. For some smaller and easier to access tools, this is the Nouveau blending brushes pack of 3. It has the same tips as the Nouveau dual tipped brushes, just easier and quicker to access, and you could swap up the colors more often. And here is the Nouveau blending daubers with these swappable foam pads at the top. That again is a pack of 3. And this is the brand new Nouveau large blending brush that has a very large area to work with, and it has a cute little storage area for it. Here's some more interesting products from Nouveau. This is the Light Mist spray bottle. It comes with 2 spray bottles in there for your mixed media fun. This is a Nouveau Aquaflow water brushes that comes with 2 water brushes to fill up with water and work on your watercolor. This is the Nouveau Glitter Mister Spray Bottle. You put your ultrafine glitter in here, you turn the nozzle to unlock it and pump it to perfectly give that coat of glitter that you're looking for on your project. And this is the Nouveau Stamp Cleaning Solution for cleaning your stamps when soap and water just won't do it. Some more cool items from Tonic Studios. Here is the Tim Holtz Retractable Craft Pick. This is super cool for getting through chipboard or clay or papers. It can extend up to 1.25 inches, and you can put it in the little slots, how far you want it to go. This is the Tim Holtz paper distresser. So you could put your fingers around the rubber end and you wrap the rest of the paper distresser in your hand, and you use all of these edges to distress the edges of your paper real easily. This is a pack from Tonic Studios that includes that same paper distresser, just in a different color. Here's a little lanyard if you want to keep it in a safe spot. And here's also another cutting tool that is good for ribbon and other fabrics or textiles. And it also includes a lanyard. And I also have the Tim Holtz 5-inch mini snips. These are my favorite. They have a super soft handle right here, and they're easy to access and use.
Our next round of tools include some other Nouveau fun products. Here we have the nylon stencil brushes. These are great for all kinds of mediums, but I especially love using these on stencils. They're great for covering large areas, so those are super fun. Here we have some more nylon brushes. These are a bit smaller. I use these more for watercoloring, and the smaller brushes are great for detailing. And next we have these media spatulas. I really love these. I use these for my paste, my thicker paste when I'm using them, and they're great for using them over stencils as well. And lastly, we have this surface sweeper. I love keeping this just in my pencil jar somewhere handy, and this will get the excess glitter off of my desk. Super fun. Our last set of tools from Tonic Studios are our stamping blocks. I really love these stamping blocks because they have the grid on them, so I know that my stamp is straight when I stamp it down. Here we have our larger stamping block and our mini stamping block. Another awesome brand with some cool tools we want to share with you is Ranger. Here we're going to start with the Wendy Beachy Mini Make Art Station. You may have seen the larger art station, but this is a mini station, great for other cards and small projects. It includes 4 magnets and a ruler inside, super cool. And here we have the Wendy Beachy Make Art non-stick craft sheets. This is just a smaller version of the large one. This is also great for storing in smaller places and just taking on the go. And lastly, we have a newer alcohol ink blower. This is great for alcohol inks, doing it on maybe some alcohol ink paper. And instead of using a straw or maybe just your breath, this is great for just squeezing it and just moving those colors around beautifully. Some more fun tools from Ranger. You can see right here, we're going to start with the Distress Embossing Dauber. Now this is just like the Distress Embossing Pad, but it's a smaller version. So this is great for other small areas and you have more control of where to put the distressing ink. So that's awesome. Next, we have these mini ink blending tools. I really enjoy these because they come with the extra pad, so you don't have to buy extra. And I love the handle on them. It gives you some good control as well. And here is a nice 6-inch bold folder. Just want you to keep your back pocket anytime you need it. Super fun. And lastly, we just have some more brushes, which are great just to have handy at any time. Again, for watercolor or any kind of other media project. Now from another one of our favorite brands, we have Diamond Dots. And here is the Dots Light light board. This is a 9 1/4 by 13-inch light board. It has 3 dimmable touch controls, USB powered, and it is slim and very lightweight to take with you on the go. I really love this product because you can do any project on top of it, which will help lighten up every project. Another cool Diamond Dots tool is the Dotifier. This is a hands-free dotting aid that has 4 different interchangeable magnifying lenses that are great for seeing your projects up close. Our last set of tools we have from Diamond Dots are these awesome styluses. Here we have a 2-pack stylus that have some fun finger grippers on them that are great for controlling where you're putting your beads. Or we also have a big pack of them that are great for other projects to do with friends. And along with those, we have a big pack of trays that are great as well. And here we have some paint brushes by Diamond Dots that are just great for any mixed media project. So here we have the brand new paper glazes by Picket Fence. These are very beautiful pearly mediums. So we're going to run through the names right quick and then we're going to show a demo. So here we have Boysenberry. It's a very pretty dark purple. Here we have Peony Pink. Next we have Golden Rose. That's a very pretty gold. Here's a really pretty white. This is called Snowdrop White. Cute. Next we have Artemisia Silver. Really pretty silver. Next we have this darker brown. It's called Brown Dahlia. And there is a hint of gold in there. You see a little bit. And here's our black. It's called Black Pansy. Here is Ocean Poppy. That's a really pretty blue. Next, you have this dark turquoise called Jade Vine. Here's a pretty olive color called Fern Green. There's some gold in that one as well. Here we have Succulent Green. A little bit of turquoise in there. And here's a really pretty green called Leaf Green. Next we have Daffodil Yellow. It's a really pretty yellow. And lastly, we have Marigold Orange. And we're going to go ahead and demo these for you. So I'm going to demo these 4 right here. And here I have my Tonic stencil. This is actually called the Dreamy Daisy stencil, just to let you know what that one was. I'm going to go ahead and go in with my Ocean Poppy Blue. Now this is a very smooth medium and it's very, very pigmented. You can see how easy it is just to get it out of there. It's not chunky or anything. So I just need just a little itsy bitsy tiny bit because this also goes a very long way. And we're just going to start in this corner up here. And Now I'm just going to swipe down, fill in those spaces and swipe down. Add a little bit more. You don't want to put too much. All right. I think that's good for that color. And that's our Ocean Poppy. It's a really pretty blue. Okay, next I'm going to use this Succulent Green. Going to go in with that again. Just start with a little bit. I'm going to go right next to that blue. Another great thing about these glazes is that they mix very well. I'm going to go ahead and ombre that in between those just a little bit. You don't get that mushy brown colors when you try to blend your colors. So that's fabulous. So just ombre a little bit and that'll be a nice pretty blend in between the two. I think I'm going to go in with the pink next to that Succulent Green. So here we have our Peony Pink. I'm going to go right next to that Succulent Green. And again, I'm going to blend right in the middle of them two. Just keep scraping down. If you put a thin layer, as if you were doing a stencil, it will only take about 15 minutes to dry, so that's good too. That's about the average for most mediums, so that's fabulous. And next we're going to go in with our last color, Boysenberry. Again, it's a darker purple. Very nice color. And I'm just going to go here at the bottom. I put a little bit more so I can feel maybe this bottom. This is a really pretty purple. For all my purple fanatics out there, you'll love this purple. And again, I kind of want to mix it in with that pink up there. And I think I'm actually going to go in with the silver just to fill up that other corner. So here's the silver, Artemisia Silver. This is a great color as well. You always need a silver. We're just going to go down there in that bottom corner and mix in with that blue and with the purple over here. All right, so now we're going to take our stencil up. And look how pretty those blended together. Let's get a closer look at that. Super cute how all those blended a little better. And those were the glazes by Picket Fence. And some more cool tools from Pink and Main include this 3.5-inch round stamping block. I really love this one, just like the Tonic one, because it again has lines on it, but this one's different. It has these waves on the end that allow you to really hold on to the stamping block, which is awesome. And next we have these fairly new ergonomic blender brushes. I really enjoy these. We saw the Nuvo one earlier, which was fairly similar when it had the bristles on the top, which are great for blending inks and other mixed medias. And it just clicks back in there for easy storage. And if you're not set for the big one, we do have a smaller one, which is super cute in my opinion. And this is great for other detail projects. And they're very, very soft. And an easy way to clean these blending brushes is with this Scrub It Clean stamp cleaning cloth. There's 2 in each pack, and just add some water to it. And then if you rub your blending brush on it, then that ink will just come right off. Super fun.
Another great product from Picket Fence is the sequin mixes. They are so adorable and they come in the cutest containers. These are great for shaker cards and other embellishment projects. So here is the first one. This is Candy Corn Shots. Lots of fun different colors in that one. Next I have Holiday Hopper. Beautiful. This is Witch's Brew. These are such fun names for these fun sequins. Witch's Brew. This is Christmas Punch. And I love this clear top, so you get to play with the sequins while they're still in their package. This is Irish coffee. Nice. Here is Purple People Eater. That will look really good with that purple paper glaze we just saw. Here is Mermaid Water. This one is a top seller. And our other top seller, Gin and Tonic. That's a fun silver sequin case. And you're going to want to store these in your Picket Fence sequin mix container. This is a storage solution for these sequin mixes. So I can put these in here and line them up. So I have all of my colors lined up. They won't roll away, and I get to see them all at once if I'm working on a project. So those were our Picket Fence sequin mixes and our storage display.
Our last thing from Picket Fence is the Slim Line Die Cutting System die cut set. This is a super cool project. As you can see here, there are over 256 designs that you can do. If you look down here at the bottom, that's just a cute little example of what you could do with this. But if you see here, there's all kinds of different designs. You got some trees and other stuff that you could do many different things with it.
All right, our last variety of tools I'd like to show you is our favorite Fiskars Sure Cut trimmer. We love this trimmer because it has a wire in the middle that shows you exactly where you're going to slide your cutter. That is super cool, and it does have an extension arm. So that's the Fiskars Sure Cut trimmer. Next, I have the Zap heat tool. This is a very reliable heat gun, and it's pink, so super cool. I also have the Pixie spray. This is perfect for holding down your stencils. If you don't want to use washi tape, maybe the washi tape tears up your paper. This you can spray on the back to hold your stencil down to your paper temporarily because it's light tack, and you'll be able to pull your stencil back up. That is super cool. I have here a super nice doily punch. Makes it easy to make those beautiful background doilies that you want to have on your projects. And my very last thing here is our favorite glue, the Art Glitter Dries Clear Glue. It is also available in a 4-ounce bottle along with its metal tip that also has a little holding container.
Hello all, it's Karen from Be Creative, and I'm here with some tool information. It's tool time. I think the most important thing before you start any project is having the right equipment, and tools are such a huge part of that. A lot of the tools that we acquire over the years, if you've been paper crafting for a while, they're tried and true, and you hold on to them forever. But if you've maybe been a scrapbooker and you're getting into card making, or maybe you're getting out of the album and doing some altered art, knowing what tools to use and things that you need in your arsenal is really important. So I just want to go over some maybe more obscure tools, or even some basics too, and talk about how I use them, whether it's for scrapbooking or it's coloring or whatnot. So let's get right into it. Let's start with paper trimmers. These are two of my favorites. These companies have been around forever. They're well known in the paper crafting industry. We Are Memory Keepers. This is a trimmer and a scoreboard, which I think makes it a little bit almost better than the Fiskars, even though Fiskars kind of has that name that's been around since the dawn of time. This guy is a paper trimmer, but then it's got the built-in scoreboard with scoring tool. You can also store it on the side. It comes with the trimmer blades. It's got really good measuring. Here it opens up fully to 12 inches. So you've got a lot to work with. Really easy cutting guide. So you can score your cards, you can cut your cards, everything right there. And of course there's the replacement blades too. We always need that. Then we've got Fiskars, which is, you know, known forever and ever. And they keep changing around their different trimmers, just giving you different options. This one has a really good grid line designs to really measure. It's got the swing arm that opens up to the full 12 inch. So you've got all that space you need when you're doing 12 by 12 layouts. It also comes with a couple blades in there. One thing to note about Fiskars, because you may have a trimmer from, you know, 10, 15 years ago, as they've changed it, they have changed how they do their track system. So taking a look, and again, the way they do their refills, they keep changing the top. It's not important the top. What's important is looking on the side. So if you look here, let me do it so you can see. Here's two different refill blades. You can see this one is just a flat with the blade coming down. This one, it has a little bit of a lip. Can you see that lip? This is called a triple track blade. So the lip on that ensures that it fits into the grooves of the track on the newer trimmers. The really older models are still using this blade. So if you don't have a triple track, you're going to want refill G. That's for your standard trimmer, not triple track. If you have a newer trimmer and you need that triple track, you're looking for I. So G is the older model, I is the newer one. So that's the deal with trimmers. Let's get into scissors as well. Two of my favorite scissors would be the Tim Holtz and the Cutter Bee. I like the Cutter Bee for detail, really comfortable handles on that and great for detail cutting. The Tim Holtz, it comes in a variety of different lengths. This is the jumbo. There's also a real mini snip that's 5 inch and then one in between that's about 7 inch. What I like about these are the titanium shears ensure that nothing's sticking to it. So if you're cutting through, say, red line tape or glue dots or foam tape, it's not going to get all gooey and sticky. So you can keep your scissors clean and gunk free and keep cutting through your project. It also has the beveled edge and kind of like a serrated edge, so you can go through tin and chipboard, but then just as easily switch to really ultra fine ribbon, and it's sharp as the day you bought them. So these are two really great ones. As far as cutting, I like the Tim Holtz retractable craft knife. It comes with ones in there. Just don't get confused, because there's a craft knife and then there's a craft pick. They are not the same. Obviously, a pick is like a paper piercer, whereas the knife is to cut, but they look very much the same. So those are two awesome tools from Tonic from Tim Holtz. As far as other paper piercing options, there's a whole host of them. If you just need something to poke holes or poke, say, little things out of your dies, like little stray pieces of paper that are stuck, this is a pokey tool, which has the rubber protector so you're not going to stab yourself when you reach into your craft bag. So this is a very economical option to have something that's a little pokey tool. There's also from We Are Memory Keepers, this guy, which is a brad setter with a piercer on the other end. So this is great for, yes, setting brads, creasing out the little lip of the eyelets when you're, you know, spreading that apart. And anytime you need to like smooth something out into the middle corners, say you're putting paper onto a chipboard surface that's dimensional and you just really need to get into a crevice, this is kind of a really great thing to have. We Are also does the sticky piercer, which is a piercer on one end, and then on the other end it's got almost like a gummy eraser, so you can pick up and place little gems, sequins, all kinds of stuff like that very easily without, you know, trying to pick them up with your tweezers and flicking them across the room. But if tweezers are your groove and you need to pick up stickers or something like that, the precision tweezer from We Are is a really nice option. It's got more of a spring action, so it's very easy to manipulate, and rubberized tip cover so that you're not stabbing yourself again, because I can tell you how many times I've stabbed myself. It's crazy. So it's important to have the right protection on top of your tools as you're reaching into your bag of tricks. Also, this guy's a really great tool as well to put different types of glues and have a fine application with that little pin to keep the nozzle clear in between when you're using it. So this is great, and you can do this with paint or whatever else you need to put in there, but having these on hand, and these are also very affordable, very easy to use. Let's talk coloring tools, because a lot of us use alcohol markers to color in our stamped images. I know I do. I always work with the Tri-Blend, either brush or regular. I think it's a great alternative to Copic because it's a lot more affordable, and at Be Creative we carry absolutely everything alcohol marker that's affordable. So when we're going to be blending out, this is where the tools come in. Yes, you blend within itself using a lighter color, but sometimes you want to add texture, you want to erase. The two tools you need to do those types of effects would be a blender pen, a colorless blender pen, and some blender solution. So the blender pen just comes, it's a classique, so it's got a traditional bullet nib on one end and a chisel on the other, as you can see here. And it's just easy to take color away. But the technique I like even better is when I need to add some bigger effects. So let's say here I've got a piece of paper here, and I'm going to get I'm coloring a bunny rabbit, okay? Here, I'm going to do two swatches so you can see. This is just a dark gray bunny rabbit. Now, our bunny rabbits are not smooth. They're furry, right? Bunnies are furry. So you want to give somewhat of a fur effect. Yes, you could come in with your blender pen and you could pixelate and add some furry effects, but a more natural way I find is to take my blender solution, and this is the stuff that goes in the blender pen, but I use it if I'm cleaning up. Let's say I've got alcohol ink that I've smudged somewhere on my tabletop. I've got it on my acrylic block, which I used as a palette, and I just need to clean it off. This will take it off because it's all the alcohol with no tint. So I can take just this terry cloth washcloth here, and I'm going to just eyedropper some of this blending solution onto it because the terry cloth has a texture, as you can see. So when I start to kind of stipple, if you can see that, and I spilled a little bit, it'll just evaporate, which is no big deal. So I'm just going to kind of spounce it. And here, let me bring this up close so you can see. Can you see the difference here? It's starting to look like fur because it's trying to erase and model that. So this is the smooth and this is the furry effect, as you can see. And you can even see how it's coming through the other side because that blender solution is like pushing it through the paper and it's giving it that distressed look. So great way to do denim and fur and other textures using the blender refill. And this will work on any type of alcohol marker, any brand, as long as they're based in alcohol. Another great tool associated with marker coloring and pencil coloring would be this pencil blending kit from Spectrum Noir. It's a zippered case in here where you're getting the blending stumps and eraser, sketching pencils, stump sander. We use the stumps when we're working with colored pencils in particular that you can use on top of alcohol marker or on their own if you just like to color with colored pencils. But to smooth out those effects, we can use the blender. Beyond that, if you want to make colored pencil look more like a watercolor effect, you can get into this, which is Gamsol. Gamsol is an odorless mineral spirits, as you can see on the package here. This has, here, let's open it up. This guy comes with a sander and a stump, and super easy to work with. You would just, it has a little top on it. See how it's got a dauber top? So you just kind of squeeze it up and it's going to be wet like a dauber, and you can get your stump here and just get it wet and then blend out colored pencil to get it to look more soft, natural, and more watercolory. So that's a lot of fun. And this works with any brand of traditional colored pencil that's not a watercolor pencil. This tool is called the Creative Detailer tool from Couture Creations, how snazzy, the Gentleman Crafter collection. And this allows you to clean up foil, like stray, when you're working with heat activated foil through different foiling machines. It allows you to kind of heat and touch up and clean up that foil. Very easy to use, it just takes batteries. Now getting into brushes and blending, because a lot of us who are doing stamping do a lot with backgrounds. So let's look at some different brush options here. Nuvo has a lot of great stuff. I mean, it's just top quality. I know there's a lot of different brands out there and places where you can get blending brushes, but a little bit you do get what you pay for, in my experience. So I found that Nuvo is just a really great brand. That's why we carry it. It's not some knockoff that's going to fall apart on you after you use it one time and add a little pressure to the brush head. So this is a set of the precision blending brushes They're nylon brushes, and you can use them with all mediums. So this is the small set. Here's the larger set for maybe doing blended backgrounds, that kind of thing. They also have the big dual blending brush. This almost looks like if you were going to do a whole lot of makeup on your face, but great for stenciling, for doing softer backgrounds, but you are going to get more of a wispy hair look if you're blending out inks. But I use this in particular for stenciling. Beyond that, if you need to clean up your stamps and tools, you've got the Stays-On cleaner. It's good for use with alcohol-based inks, not water-based, because water-based will just clean up with water. So this is if you're using Stays-On or some of those other types of archival inks, and it's got the dauber top on it, so it's easy to ink up your stamp and clean it off. So that's one option, because yeah, if you don't use a water-based ink on your stamps, then you can't really clean it up with water. You need something that's solvent-based, which is what this is. Another option would be to use the Lawn Fawn Stamp Chamois. You just add water. It feels like a car chamois. It takes off all inks, be they water-based or alcohol-based. We don't know how it works. We just know it works. We don't question it. So your chamois will get all disgusting and gross, and you just continue to use it without the need for washing it or doing anything special. You just keep it in with your stuff and keep getting it wet, and it will take all those inks off of there. What else did I forget? Oh yes, I love this mini punch board. This is kind of fun for doing mini envelopes, great for gift cards, different sizes, and they've got some really great YouTubes on the We Are site that show you how to work with all their different tools. There's a little scoring tool in there, makes it so easy to do the little baby envelopes. Oh, another blending tool I forgot. Going back to the brushes, this guy's phenomenal. Really holds the ink well, blends out nicely, and I like to use a round blending tool versus a square, because when we're blending, we're going in circular motions. We don't want big squares on our projects, so round just makes the most sense. If you're doing finer applications of ink, maybe daubers are your groove. These are great tools, and this is a great way to get it because you're getting 40 daubers already in there in a really nice carry case that's ready to go. And then you don't have a big bag of random daubers. You have somewhere to store it. You have organization and your tools at your disposal. Now, getting into stamping beyond cleaning up stamps, if we're going to be putting stamps behind other or images behind other images in our stamping, doing that faux 3D effect, you're going to want some masking magic, which is masking paper that allows you to, if you stamp an image, you can mask it and then stamp another image and offset it so it will layer very easily. So that's kind of one of those stamping must-haves, and this will go a long ways because you're getting 12 5x7 sheets in the package. And what else do I want to talk about? I think adhesive tools are important to note. I mean, I consider my big Easy Runner Grand Gun the best tool out of all my tools because I use it every time I do any type of project. This is my go-to. This comes with different refills, permanent dots, repositionable dots, ultra strong clear transparent tape, and then your traditional paper tape that looks like railroad tracks. I think the best thing about having this as your go-to adhesive tool is you get a lot of bang for your buck. The refills on this are going to hold 3 times what a regular little gun holds, plus it's about double the price of a little. So you're getting 3 times as much for only twice the price. So economically, it's the better buy for sure. And this is really lightweight and easy to hold, so it's not heavy or cumbersome. They're easy to load, and I just find that it's an easy way to get my adhesive down every time. I don't have any issues with it curling up on me or coming apart. And it's just my go-to. Now, beyond that, if we're working with stencils and running die cuts or embossing folders through our die cut machine, you're going to want a low-tack tape to ensure you're anchoring stuff down and it's going through and not sliding around like metal dies that you're putting through your die cut machine. So having a low tack tape, there's just a lot of choices. It's a matter of your personal preference. Purple tape, I'd say, is the newest, and a lot of people really rave about that. It has been quite popular for us. It comes in 2 widths. So there's the 1/2 inch and then there's the 1.5 inch, I believe. And then there's Scotch, which is always that name brand, which is great, that it sticks really securely but comes off without taking anything with it. And then Crafter's Companion has a low tack tape in a 3-pack. So you get a lot in here. It's water-based, it's clear, really easy to work with the little dispenser. So it's just a matter of your personal preference. A couple other adhesive-based tools would be the craft mat from Spectrum Noir. There's one from Ranger too. I like the Spectrum Noir one because it's a little bit less expensive, and I'm always about saving $1, so I can then spend it on other things like my paper and my embellishments and my stamps and all that good stuff. So this is a craft mat that's Teflon. It's Teflon built, so you don't want to fold it because that will kind of like score it and it will never lay flat again. So keep it rolled up, but it's a non-stick surface, it's non-slip, it's heat resistant, so you can use your heat tool on it. You can get glue on here, paint, ink, everything, and it will wipe off. So it's great to preserve your work surface and preserve your project, having the right tool base to make sure you can do any project on top of it. Then if you're working with die cuts, I talked about the low tack tape, but another option if you need to put sticky back on your mat, like you're throwing it through and that tack is kind of gone, rather than buying another, and I'm talking electronic cutters like, you know, your Silhouettes and your Cricut and all that good stuff. So this is a great way, the Stick and Spray, it's a repositionable adhesive, temporary tack that allows you to put some tack back on your mat without having to buy a brand new mat. I know that the lovely people at those companies want you to buy mat after mat after mat, but that adds up quickly and you don't necessarily need it. Plus, sometimes you'll get the mat and it won't be as tacky or it's too tacky. This way you get to control it and add more when you need it, and you can just ensure an even start surface by taking like a baby wipe or a wet washcloth, wiping it clean, and then just spray a little bit of this on, and just kind of like hairspray. Like, do you want a lot of hairspray? Not a lot of hairspray. That's kind of it's like personal preference. So see how much tack you want, but this is a great thing to do. And then if you have your stray little goobers hanging off of your, say, die cut where you've put it through a Xyron and it's got little sticky little residue, this is a great way to pick it up. It's a little adhesive pickup square where you can kind of spounce it and it will take all of that up. So I hope I gave you a little overview of what you need to get started tool-wise, some maybe tools you haven't heard of that will help you take your paper crafting to the next level. You can find all this and much more at www.shopbecreative.com. There's several categories you can look in. One is called tools. We've got storage and organization. Lots of different categories you'll find on the left-hand menu of the website. If you have any questions, you can always contact me directly, and I hope you're enjoying your evening, and I'll see you later.
Hi everyone, I'm Trisha Morris from Club Scrap. Welcome to my warehouse based in Neenah, Wisconsin. Today's project involves the making of a layout, but the purpose of the project is to show you how I use all of my favorite tools. Let's get started. Ultimately, I want to show you how I use my grid rulers. This is one of the critical pieces to my crafting puzzle that I would love to introduce you to. But in order to get to the rulers, we need to do some other things that involve the use of my favorite tools. One of them is a tool that I actually developed a few years ago called the accordion pocket file. Now at Club Scrap, we try to scrap efficiently with as few scraps as possible, taking as little of your precious time as possible. And so in order to do that, we do all of the trimming for 8 layouts at a time. So as you're trimming, you are filing all the pieces needed for each individual pair of pages into one of these 4 pockets. So this accordion pocket file is a critical tool to my organizational success. What I love most about it is that it uses all the vertical space in my room without using any horizontal space in my room. I never seem to have enough of that. But I also added just 2 hook and loop dots to the front of the organizer. And then it sits under one of my other most favorite tools in the world, my Fisker's Guillotine trimmer. If you do not have this trimmer, I can't recommend it enough. I speak from experience. I've been using this model for over 10 years. This is only my second model. The blade is self-sharpening, and it's a workhorse, very durable. And I love that it has these vertical guides every 1/4 inch, because we do measure here at Club Scrap, and those vertical lines make it really easy to find the number of the measurement I'm looking for. So the other tool that I use quite a bit are page formulas, and these are designed to help use the papers you have in your stash to turn them into layouts where you know the outcome and you know there will be almost little or no waste of paper involved in making the page. So I'm going to use my favorite tools to help create this page, and then I'll show you how I use my rulers to finish that page. So I have the papers needed for this layout listed in the gather recipe. I need one 12 by 12 paper A, that's going to be this plain slate color from Club Scrap's Kintsugi collection. And then I'm going to use a print also for paper B from the same Kintsugi kit. And then 2C, that's going to be this beautiful navy all from one Club Scrap collection. So each piece has a specific measurement. We need to trim it. So using my favorite tool, the trimmer, I'll place this paper A into the trimmer at 11, and I'll stabilize on the clear bar to hold the paper in place while I cut, then slide down to 10, and then finally 6. So I cut at 11, 10, and 6. Now if you rotate the 6 by 12 so it's horizontal, and simply cut at 8 and 4, that's going to give you 3 4x6s. They're all the same size. I'm going to take 2 of these 4x6s and file them in the first pocket, and the other one I'll put in the second pocket. We're only making 2 pages here, but the pocket organizer still keeps everything straight for us. Now I'm going to take this next strip. This is 4 by 12 right now. I'll cut it at 9, 6, and 3. And I'm going to take these 4 that are the same. I'll take 3 of them. Those will go in the second pocket, and the first square goes in the first pocket. So if you aren't using pockets, you can follow this recipe with me and just make piles. Then you have these strips. I'm going to put 1 in the first pocket, 1 in the second pocket. That is paper A. There are no scraps for me to deal with. And then I'm going to move on to paper B. This is the print again from this gorgeous Kintsugi collection. If you don't know what Kintsugi is, you can look it up. It's spelled Kintsugi, and it's the beautiful art of repairing broken pottery, with the idea that once something is broken and then repaired, it's even more beautiful than it was before when it was whole. And I think that just speaks so clearly of where we're all at in life right now. Okay, so this next piece I'm going to place at 7.5, and then 7, 6.5, and 5. Now I take that 5-inch piece and rotate. We'll cut at 11 and 7. Notice I allow all those pieces to pile up. I'll take the largest one here. I'm going to put that in the second pocket or pile. Then you have this smaller rectangle that goes in the first one. And you have this little narrow strip that will also go in the first pocket. Now we have some strips. We have this wider strip that will go in the first pocket, and then 2 narrow strips, 1 in each pocket or pile. And then you have this larger piece that will go in the second pocket. So again, I have no scraps from making this layout. I'm going to get rid of my trimmer, and using my formula, everything needed to assemble the left side of the layout is in the first pocket. Everything needed for the right side of the layout is in the second one. So I'll spread out my 2 base pages in front of me side by side. And I'll use this as my assembly guide. We do this with all of our monthly kits too. I mean, every kit has its own little personalized assembly guide. And I'm going to dry fit these components onto my layout. Everything out of pocket 1 goes here. So I can take, let's see, this larger strip, and then it's going to be another smaller one in a contrasting color, nested with yet another one. That looks nice. 2 vertical photo mats, 1 larger framed with a square in the middle. This one maybe I can put plain side up and use it as a little opportunity for journaling. Now if I take this other pocket and empty it, this large section here will go across the bottom of this page, and then I will nest with another strip. Here we have this pretty layered frame, and we have 3 pieces that can go along here. There's your layout. Now we haven't glued anything down. That is where my rulers come in. So this is the real meat of the presentation. So you're gonna love how professional all of this will allow me to be as I complete these pages. Now, have you ever made a page where you've adhered something onto the layout and when you walk away from it and come back, you realize you've attached it crooked to the page? That drives me crazy. So enter the 3x14 grid ruler from Club Scrap. It has cubes on it, and every cube on the ruler represents 1/8 of an inch. So there are 8 cubes for every inch. Either way, even if you don't use this for measuring, you can still use the grid itself for leveling. Okay, so measuring is one thing, leveling is another. Let's talk about leveling for a minute. And I apologize if there's glare from my lighting. We need light, but sometimes it does cause glare. So let's just say I want to attach this 1/4 of an inch from the left edge of this layout, and I want this strip to be perfectly level, not heading up or downhill. So if the ruler is right up against the layout without touching it, you know, just against it, that's at 0 inches, right? So then if I do it 1 cube, that first dashed line on my ruler takes me to 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Then if I bring it in again to the next solid line, which is now 2 cubes in, I am 1/4 of an inch from the edge. That was my desired measurement, but let's say I could keep going. Now I'm 3/8 from the edge, 1/2 inch from the edge, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, 1 inch. So remember when you were little, I remember this when I was taught when I want to draw a straight line, I had to start here. Let's say I mark that at 1 inch, then I go to the middle and I mark an inch, then I go to the bottom and mark an inch, and then I can connect those lines. In this case, the ruler does all that work for me. So if I have the ruler positioned here, I'm exactly 1 inch from the edge and I'm level and perfect. I don't have to do that first step. Okay, so back to our project of attaching this 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Got my ruler positioned. I'll bring in another favorite tool. This is my adhesive transfer gun, otherwise known as an ATG. It's the fastest way to adhere anything. The secret is to rest the paper against the edge of the ruler and drop it into place. Okay, then I have this perfectly placed. I know it's level. It's not running downhill. It's not running uphill or tilted in an unattractive way. Using that as my guide now, I can rest my next strip right against it and drop it into place. Just make sure it's nice. Now to attach this piece, it's the same width as my adhesive. I use the 1/2 inch adhesive transfer gun adhesive. So now I'm going to grab another favorite tool of mine, and it's my needle tipped glue applicator. It stores our bookbinding glue, and I'll just make a squiggle line across this strip, and I can lay this in the middle of the 1 inch strip I had before, and if I wanted to, I could still again use my ruler. Because it's a wet glue, I have an opportunity to double check that this is exactly centered and level on that strip. Now I've built this really pretty left edge here. Now next I have this guy I want to center onto the larger panel. You can use the 3x14, or I also have a smaller size that I like for these smaller projects. This is a 2x8. So if I take this 2x8, from one end it's 0 to 8, and the other it goes 4, 0, 0, 4. So that way, if I place this onto my object, and this is 5 inches wide, so the center is going to give me a reading of 2.5 inches from the left edge and also the right edge. That way I know where my center is, and then I can also center this. Now this is 4 inches wide, so my reading on the left will be 2, and it will match on the right also at 2. Now what about the distance between the edge and the little mat? Well, it looks like it just needs to be 1/2 inch. So I'm exactly 1/2 inch from the bottom edge of the mat, 1/2 inch in on both sides because I'm all centered up nicely. So basically I'm going to leave my ruler right where it was, apply adhesive to my rectangle, push down again on the ruler, rest it on the edge, and drop. Now it's perfectly centered. Again, my tendency would be to be off a little bit, and especially with something with such a wide reveal, it's really nice to have that officially centered. Now, let's just say I want to attach this so it's right about here, and I can use this for notating some journaling on there. Once again, I can use my grid ruler. Maybe I'll use the 3x14 here, and make sure that this piece is level and not running the wrong direction. I'll put adhesive now, this time on the printed side, and just put that flush with the right edge of the page here. Nice. Then when I come back and add this nested frame, if I want, I can also just make sure I'm level here. Maybe I wanted 1/4 inch from the bottom edge, and I want it kind of toward the left. Boom. Okay, now we have these 2 vertical mats. They're angled. And one of the things, you know, again, just a layout tip, I like to avoid putting a corner of something along the edge of something else. That creates an unattractive tangent. Designers try to avoid those. So to avoid tangents, if you're going to angle your photo mat, I like to raise one, lower one, so they're different heights, and then overlap slightly, and that removes all tangents. So this is very attractive. I'll flip those. I don't need a ruler for this. Just make sure I don't have corners touching corners. Nice, one's higher than the other. They're both tilted and slightly overlapping. Boom. I was careful about adhesive placement so I can still get my photo underneath here. This is, again, an opportunity to use my ruler to center. So I'll grab my 2x8 and get that all centered up at 3.5 on each side, and I think again 1/2 inch from the edges is going to be perfect. So now I've got my plan in place. If you're a card maker, don't make cards without the 2x8. It's such a handy little guy. I even have one that's 1/2 inch by 6 inches. This is for on the go. You know, it even has a little hearing holder on it so you can take it with you. You can measure anytime, any place, for any reason. Okay, so I've got this kind of centered up on there, which is nice. Now, once again, too, I can use my bookbinding glue from my needle tip applicator to center this. I know it's going to be 1/4 inch from the edge of the strip, so now I know it's perfectly centered and straight. Oh, what a joy. And it doesn't take a lot of extra time to take this extra step, honestly. It really, really doesn't. Attach this printed piece here. This piece goes on next. Now I sort of, in my diagram, I sort of have these on toward the left, but I just want to show you how you would go about centering these 3 pieces onto the base page. With your ruler, you can find the 0 center again, and then because my layout is 12 inches wide, I'm going to find a 6 needs to be the measurement on both sides. Then I know I am centered right where I belong. Now the first piece I apply with adhesive is going to be the center one. So that's centered at 1.5 on each side. So I'll take my ATG tool, find my 1.5 on each side, and drop. So I rest against the edge of the ruler and drop it. Now all I need to do is apply adhesive to the other 2 pieces. Make sure my center is centered. Lay it next to, I'm going to separate this by 1/8 inch, which is 1 cube on the ruler. And same here, 1 cube on the ruler. All that's left is to attach this larger piece. So I will, if you want, you can still use anything to help make sure it's level and spaced the way you want it. Nice, very professional looking page. I hope you agree. And that was, I don't know when the last time is that you made a page completed in about less than 15 minutes, really. And I took my time explaining things. I mean, this can go very, very quickly for you. And if you're one who spends an hour or more, or even days putting one double page spread together, this is a great solution. The only thing missing on this layout is pictures. I want to show you one more ruler trick that I use all the time to help me finish my layouts. I use the 8x8 grid ruler for this job. And what it does is allows me to figure out if cropping a photo into a certain spot is going to work. Now I have some pictures that I took from a trip last year, actually. I was lucky enough to go to Germany and to the Moselle Valley and visit this beautiful castle in Bern Castle. or they say Bernkastel. And I have all these pictures. So I've never made this layout before. I had no plan. I just kind of went with it. And now I'm going to go ahead and just select some pictures. Well, of course, I want me and my husband in one of them. So that's, here we are there. This is kind of cool. It's a beautiful view. And then this, oh yes, we need to be able to see this. I think this might work if I split it over these two. Oh, gosh, that was just so beautiful. Okay, well, I wonder if this will fit into this space. Well, how do I know? Well, if I take my grid ruler and I hover over this rectangle, and the reading I get is 3 by 4. So my picture should be a 1/4 inch less than that. So 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Let's take this over to the picture. Look at that. Here's 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So look, I can get all of everything that I need out of this picture cropped to fit into this space. These are 4 by 6, therefore I only need to take a 1/4 inch off the bottom and side of each of those. What about this one? 3 3/4. It's going to take me right about there. 2 3/4. I can come up a little bit. Ooh, that's going to be very nice. All right, I'm going to quick trim these pictures to these sizes. Okay, so now I have all of my pictures trimmed for this beautiful layout. Look at that. Look how they all fit. So lovely. I just trimmed this photo in half and then to the 2 3/4 inch width. I got my height first and then trimmed so that this is one picture spread out over 2 mats. I like the balance that this creates, but look, I still have a little bit more space on this layout, and that's when you can use the grid ruler once again. Maybe just measure here, like what if I wanted to put a picture right here that's the same height as this? It could be 4 by 5. All right, here I have a really beautiful picture. I'm gonna trim this to 4 by 5. And look, that fits in there so nice. I have all of these other pictures, like maybe I could check to see if this little house here would fit maybe into this area. I'll quick do that. How about 3 by 4? I'm gonna quick trim this. And there it is, fitting nicely in there as well. So you've got your cast of characters here. Your main characters get those larger photos, those larger mats. Your supporting actors and actresses are matted also, but smaller, and then you can even fill in further with additional pictures. This method of scrapbooking has kept me up to date for years, as well as many Club Scrap members. So I really hope you're inspired to give these rulers a try. In fact, I really want to get these in your hands, and so I've put together a value pack. You can get all 3 rulers at a value pack discount, so check our website for that. And then we also just released this little guy, this 1.5 by 6. It's only $5.99 if you're a member. So this is also a really affordable piece, and you can't go wrong with having all 3 of these in your stash. Now I have a lot more ruler tips. This is basically just Rulers 101. There are so many more things I do with my rulers, including using the angles, combining them. I use them in book binding with all kinds of clever tips as well. So down the road, I hope to do a Rulers 201 for you. But for now, it's time to master these skills so that you can become a pro. Now, the best way to utilize all of the things that I showed you today is by being a Club Scrap member. We send a page kit every month that creates 8 12 by 12 layouts using the very methods that I showed you. And then you can use your new rulers to help you make beautiful, professional looking finished pages, add your photos in no time. I have a special offer for my Stamp and Scrapbook Expo viewers. If you shop clubscrap.com today and check out with code TOOLS, you'll be given free shipping on orders over $50. And if you decide to join Club Scrap, I will give you the accordion pocket file starter kit, which will put you well on your way to being organized and efficient in your scrapbooking. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Hi everyone, I'm Trisha Morris from Club Scrap, and I'd like to invite you to participate in a very special Club Scrap project showcase sponsored by our friends at Stamp and Scrapbook Expo. We'll be spending the evening together on December 22nd, assembling 3 fabulous projects. But the best part is you'll be learning a lot of tips and techniques that will carry you forward into your future crafting. The first project we'll make is this beautiful hard-covered snap ring album. The inner pages are 6x6, and we'll install this awesome little closure here so you can move the pages around with ease. And then we'll also be learning all kinds of fun little structures for pages in the inside of the book. Our next project will be this beautiful note card carrier. It comes with a belly band, and when you slide it off, you'll open it to find 2 tabs that are secure. And then inside you'll find a total of 8 beautifully decorated note cards, and then 8 ivory envelopes to match. And number 3 will be a nice cool down for us as we turn this page formula into a gorgeous pair of 12 by 12 scrapbook pages. And this is the layout that we will complete. Now, all 3 of those projects come in one project pack for the very reasonable price of $49.95. Now, I do recommend several tools for you to use as well. You will want a guillotine style trimmer. I'll also be using an ATG style adhesive as well as a corner chomper. I'm also recommending that you have something to score with. There is a basic toolkit available as well, and it contains some critical items. First of all, the 3x14 grid ruler is used quite a bit in my project. You will also receive a package of foam adhesive circles to add dimension to our cards, the accordion pocket file kit, which also includes a 2-ounce bottle of our awesome bookbinding glue, a foam brush, a needle tip applicator, labels for your pocket file, in order for you to be able to make this organizer, which we'll be using extensively in our program. This toolkit is available for the reasonable price of just $26.95. Now, if you choose to get the project kit and the toolkit in one bundle from us at Club Scrap, that'll be yours for $69.95. And I hope to see you on December 22nd.